Okay, here we have USD yen on the 15-minute chart. Now, this example is actually a cool one. You'll like this one here because this goes with also money spots, and this also goes in with V formation and mastering that V formation area as well. So let's take a look at this buyer here, right? So this buyer is going on very strong. He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of energy. He rests a little bit. He runs a little bit more, rests a little bit, and then he keeps running. Okay, now his last breach was here. Okay, he breached here, he rested for a few candles, and then he breached, he ran further. So once he breached, he ran further, that's the line, and the guy responsible is here. That's the guy who started it all, right? As it goes up, he pulls back, he goes up, he pulls back. That is not a V formation there. This is not the buyer. This is not a V formation. This is just all a pullback for this buyer in this buyer's territory still. However, some people start looking at this as a sell because it starts coming down so dramatically. And that's fine. That dramatic sell that's coming in, for us it's like, okay, he's still in the buyer's territory here. Okay, he's coming down to challenge this guy. It doesn't mean he's broken his spirit. He's coming down, or imagine this guy taking a full rest, okay? And then he's got his last run to do anyways. But in this process, these sellers are looking at this as pullback, support equals resistance here. For them, that's a sell right there. Okay, that's a sell right there. For these guys, from the left side, they're looking at all of this is still in buyer's territory. Now, the question comes is, where do we see the seller coming in, pulling back, seller coming in, pulling back, seller coming in? But his last seller that did the breach, notice how high he comes up. He comes up like a V formation here, very, very high in the area of a money spot. He does the rest, last run, couldn't make it, and blast. Okay? So here goes your timing part of the things. Now, it's not a range, so you're not going to have a complete drop. So as you enter anywhere in this zone where the money spot is, you anticipate the market. You're actually getting in prior to everybody else. Because most people, what they'll do is they'll get in only after a price breach or a test onto the other side or something like that. And in most cases, they're very, very late because the price will end up here somewhere before they get in. Okay, I'm trying to teach you how to get in here, in this zone here. It's below SNR, it's below the trend line, it's in the area where people don't take action. You will take that action because you're learning this process now. Okay, and in my opinion, this is the best course of action to take because you want to anticipate, not participate, right? Participate makes you get in on the trades very, very late. All right, so let's take a look at how it reacted further down. He went up, he halted, breached, went up this high. I'm going to put a line right there. Okay, so that's your line right there. He breached, went higher, pulled back 80%, still in the buyer's territory, went up higher, came down, still in buyer's territory, and then as this first red bar came in, that's your V formation. That's your V formation. But now it's like, well, if that's my V formation, look how far it is. Okay? It's not equilibrium. It's in fact very, very lopsided. And the fact that it's lopsided, we're waiting for the last buyer's turn, the last buyer to do his running. But look how low the V formation takes to end. Once the V formation finally ended, it's like, okay, here comes the buyer is trying to take his turn. But how is that even reliable anymore, considering how low it's dropped? Okay, so you got to be aware of extreme lopsidedness. Okay, and in this market, the buyer gets up even this high. Okay, it does not breach his own record, but he gets up very, very high. Okay, so another situation here where your entries happen much, much later. So patience of waiting through this because of this extreme lopsidedness. And most people will look at this as a buy, when in reality it's just this buyer has one last round to go. because his lopsidedness keeps coming down and down and down. Like he's really quitting. But so again, a little bit higher advanced knowledge on this one. This also goes a lot with territories and stuff like that as well from a higher time frame. If you want to look at it in that sense, if this is the 15, if you go to the 60, you'll see a whole different story. Why will you see a whole different story? Because these highs never existed. They went high, came back. They went high, came back. So let's go to the 1 hour and take a look at it. I'm going to circle this area. I'm going to go up to the 1 hour. And there we go. Look at that. The breach happened above here. Temporary wait. No higher highs. No higher highs. All this is still buyer's territory. Okay? That's your one Godfather above you. Your one higher only. Cool? So keep these things in mind. And let's move on to the next lesson next week. So keep practicing V formations. Keep practicing your money spots. Money spots are very important. On its own, it won't work. V formations are very powerful. They're your heads up that something's going to happen. Imagine it this way. When you see a V formation, or what I'm going to teach you next week, probes, spikes, fake outs, whatever. These things, for me, are like pulling the pin out of a grenade. You know when you pull the pin out of a grenade, what's the thing that goes in your mind? Any moment now, any moment now, any moment now, kaboom. It's like that. So when you see a V formation in a money spot area, it's like, it's time. It's time, prepare. Okay? And until then, you just do analysis. After the V formations and the money spots and all that stuff, or what I'm going to teach you next week, you start getting your gears ready. You start doing all your calculations for your money management. You start getting preparing your A-B types of trades. Or I'm not going to go into A-B types of trades here, which is the two scenarios that can happen and how do you prepare for them. You're going to start getting ready for your psychology and your physiology before the trade happens. So you're going to start your preparation before you do all your analysis up until your V formation, and you begin all your preparation for your trade after the V formation, basically. So you want to get your trade numbers ready. You want to get your mindset ready. You want to get your physical stuff ready. You want to get your options ready of what's going to happen if scenario A happens, what's going to happen if scenario B happens, what's my outcome from this, what's my expectations from this, what happens if I don't meet my expectations, and so on and so forth. You want to get all that stuff ready. Okay, and then you pull the trigger. Okay, that's how you trade a perfect trade. You build all the information up, and then you add in all these extra pieces that you need prior to the trade, and then you pull the trigger. If you just look at a chart and you say support equals resistance, I need to buy it. No. You can get lucky every now and then, but it's just not going to cut it. Okay? And you guys are better than that. And that's why you're here, and that's why I'm here. Okay? So we're trying to make this happen. So let's move on to the next week. Next week, we're going to be discussing probes, fake outs, spikes. Okay? It's labeled as many different terminologies throughout the internet. I'm going to show you what it actually means. All right. I'll see you next week. Cheers.